Hello everybody, Tim back with you for another video as I'm priming myself here. But this video I would like to have a chat about things pertaining to music, of course, and some current events going on in the music world, and some things in my own musical world and tastes that I'm sitting down and having a good hard look at and reconsidering some things. But first things first, with a couple of current events news. One of the bands that gets talked about a lot on my channel, of course, is Stryper. And they'll come up later in the video again. But a little bit of news with Stryper and pertaining to one of their band members, specifically Richard Martinez, guitar player whose stage name is Oz Fox, who I'm sure people know him better by his more by his stage name than his real actual birth name. Is in the hospital. He was a guest performer for some other band in Vegas over the weekend. I can't remember the name of the band. Ended up having a seizure on stage. Rushed to the hospital. They're concerned with some things they found with his brain. So let's lift our prayers and thoughts for Oz. Whether we're Stryper fans or not, come on, he's a human being. But that's one bit of news. The other bit of news, which is a lot more positive than that, pertaining to Stryper's Oz Fox, but still caught me by as much surprise, because maybe it's just something that happened behind the scenes that was real hush-hush, or maybe I'm more out of touch with things than I think. But over the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, I've been hearing rumblings, and this might all be old news to you. Be like, we know about this, Tim, you idiot. But there's been rumblings about Steve Perry, Journey's Steve Perry. I know I've shown a couple of Journey things on this channel before. Returning to music, and lo and behold, he has an album called Traces that drops the day before my birthday, October 5th. And I just saw a video on YouTube of his first single from that album called No Erasing. I'll have to listen to it a couple more times to really give you any real well-formed opinion on the song. And there's been rumors about around that same time of the album dropping, which I pre-ordered already, just not too long ago. And the only physical format I could find of it was CD. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a vinyl release for it or not. But around the same time as that album drops, Journey's tour with Def Leppard is closing out in Los Angeles, I believe. And there's nothing confirmed that I heard, but there's rumors of Steve appearing on stage with the band for some of that show. And I'm becoming more and more curious, and maybe thinking about finding a way to get to that show myself. But anyway, those are two news tidbits, and there's also been some things I've heard in interviews lately that Neil from Journey has expressed interest in working with Steve again. And I don't know if that would be with Journey or not, or something completely different to Journey. But anyway, those are two interesting nuggets I thought I'd throw out there to begin this video. Now, onto the video that pertains more to me and what's going on in my own little musical world, so to speak. And what kind of bought this on was a couple videos I've seen of one from Vinylizr and the other from Metal Mickey. Two people in this community that I enjoy their videos a lot, as you all know already. But they both did videos where, like, Mike Metal Mickey was ranking the Wasp discography. And going over the discography again and everything, he really started sitting there thinking and got him to thinking. And he came to the conclusion that, hey, he came to the conclusion that he's still a Wasp fan. But looking at it objectively and really sitting there and thinking about it, they're really not in my top 5. And in turn, that video got Vinylizr John to re-examine his top 5. And there were some changes in there as well. Now, where this all pertains to me is it got me thinking. Now, I haven't gone as far as really sitting there and thinking about my top 5. I haven't gotten that far into it yet. When and if I do, I'm sure I'll upload a video about it. But what it got me thinking about was, okay, Scorpions and, again, Stryper. The two bands that get talked almost ad nauseum on my channel. I've said ever since I began this channel, I've said it years before I began this channel, before there was even a YouTube, that the Scorpions were my favorite band. I even did a video recently why they're my favorite band. But those videos by Mike and John got me thinking, okay, let's go over these bands' discographies. Okay, take Scorpions. I have all of their 80s collection now on vinyl. Again, thank you, Bev. And I need 2 more for their 70s. The most recent, and it's not very recent, but the most recent release of theirs I have on vinyl is Crazy World. But let's take the Scorpions discography from after Crazy World. Most of it before Crazy World, I'm happy with. I like the majority of what I've heard before Crazy World. In my opinion, nothing beats their 80s output. But before Crazy World, I'm generally happy. After Crazy World, Face the Heat, Good solid album. Came out at the wrong time. When grunge started taking over, a hard rock album like that, kind of fell flat, but very good hard rock album. Face the Heat. Pure Instinct. I found kind of hard to get into. Yes, I do like songs on that album, but as a whole, really had a hard time getting into that album. So, that one kind of lukewarm to me. Eye to Eye. Believe it or not, there are songs I do like from that album, but come on. Definitely not Scorpions. Then they did Acoustica, Moment of Glory. And Acoustica, I had Moment of Glory. I like some of the versions of the songs they did with the orchestra. I don't have it now, and I don't care to get it. Really wouldn't care to get it again. Acoustica I never had. Unbreakable. Return to Scorpion's Form. I apparently like the album more than others, which, is the way it is with a lot of with everything. People have different opinions. But to me, that album was a good return to form. Humanity Hour 1. It's a good album, but a lot of hard rock and stuff on there. But the Scorpions in a concept album, kind of was a little too different for me. I enjoy the album, but again, not as much as Face the Heat, Crazy World on down the line. Sting in the Tail, again, a nice little return to Scorpion's form. Enjoy a good part of that album. Not all of it. Now on to Return to Forever. Again, there are things I enjoy of the album. The album's a little way too ballad heavy for me. I don't enjoy all the album. I enjoy some of the album. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, after Face the Heat, I don't enjoy the releases after Face the Heat as a whole. And usually it's not because of just one or two songs. There's multiple songs on these releases that I don't enjoy. Now let's take Stryper. Now let's go look at Stryper's discography. Yellow and Black Attack, the EP, phenomenal. Soldiers Under Command, one of the best full-length debut albums from any band in hard rock and heavy metal history, in my opinion. To Hell with the Devil, the band's best-selling album, very overproduced album. An album I enjoy. It took me a couple listens to bring my enjoyment level to what it's been ever since. But I enjoy the album. In God We Trust. Not as good as the other stuff. Not as good as the other stuff. But I enjoy it. There's one song, one dreadful song, that Michael Sweet himself does not like, that keeps me from saying I enjoy 95% of the album. But that one dreadful song, Come to the Everlife, no. Against the Law, my favorite Stryper album. One song notwithstanding. Not my kind of guy. Not my song. Not my kind of song. Not that kind of guy. Not my kind of song. Anyway, then of course they went on hiatus, and I'm not going to, obviously with these bands, I'm not bringing up any best ofs or any other thing that come out way too much. I'm just throwing those out. Then they were gone for a while. Came out with Reborn, a lot more modern sounding album. Matter of fact, wasn't meant to be a Stryper album at all, but a solo album from Michael Sweet. Modern sounding album. None of the trademark Stryper screams from Michael, harmonies, guitar solos, none of that's in the album, which a lot of people complained about. But I personally enjoy the album. The majority of it, maybe 1-2 songs. Covers album, I'm not going to include, although that is a very good release from the band. No More Hell to Pay, great album, maybe 1 or 2 songs. Fallen, phenomenal album, 1 song, New. I can do without. Why they recorded that 1 song is a question for another day. Then on to Goddamn Evil. Their latest release. Good Lord, Tim. I enjoy that album 90% of the time. What I'm getting at through all of this babbling is looking at it objectively. The amount of songs I can say, the percentage of songs on each album I can say I enjoy from these 2 bands has got me thinking, is Scorpions really my favorite band? Because I seem to enjoy more of Stryper's discography than theirs. Now, Scorpions, there's a lot more in their discography. I mean, starting years before Stryper did. I mean, I was a baby when Scorpions' debut was released. Looking at it honestly, I might have to come out and say, I'm still a huge fan of Love you, Scorpions. I always will be. But maybe you're not my favorite band anymore. Looking at everything, take the fanboy glasses off, and looking at everything objectively, maybe that's the honest conclusion I'm coming to. Now, I know going through that whole process with bands I would have considered in my top 5, I know some will be thrown out of there. I honestly don't see Def Leppard staying in there. So, thinking about your musical tastes objectively, I know, your taste in music is your own personal opinions, but when you sit there and look at it objectively without the fanboy glasses, it's amazing. It's amazing the conclusions you can come to sometimes. But maybe more on that later. But anyway, thought I would just throw this out there. Steve Perry, Trace's album. Go out and pre-order it, you Steve Perry Journey people. I'm looking forward to it. Look for his Noah Racing single on YouTube. Again, I'll give my thoughts on that song more when I hear it more and can form a more constructive opinion. But anyway, everybody take care. Have a rockin' day. Talk to you again soon.